Come and get started on a new mission, a new direction, a new intention. Welcome to 5.8G Alive at Connections 50 Plus. I am Terri Joseph Brathwaite.
And I am Jennifer Gibbons Joseph, catering to all your prospects in the third act of life.
Economic well-being, social gratification, personal fulfillment.
Join us on Wednesday at 6 p.m. on Connections 50 Plus Facebook page, YouTube channel,
and on Gael the Caribbean.
Good afternoon, good evening, everyone, and welcome to 5.8G Alive, brought to you by Connections 50 Plus. My name is Terri Joseph Brathwaite. I am one of the co-creators of Connections 50 Plus. Really happy and excited to be here with you all this evening. With me, as usual, my two colleagues.
Hi, good evening, everyone. I am Jennifer Gibbons Joseph, the other co-creator of Connections 50 Plus, and we welcome you to our show this evening.
And of course, good evening. I am Maureen, the add-on to the lovely ladies who are here with us this evening.
You are now firmly grafted. It's on your tree.
It's firmly crafted. And yes, I think we have a topic here that's going to ignite a lot of conversation and inside thought. So I look forward to the opportunity to be chatting with you ladies this evening and with our captive audience.
Definitely. You know, over the past couple of weeks, we have been going on a road that, based on our discussions, feedback from people, and especially from the reaction in our meetups, that our followers, one of you beautiful people, are really serious about making this third act, this next stage, better. You know, and one of the things that we know, and we keep saying, mindset is everything. Mindset. And very often, our mindset ends up being the conversation that we're having with ourselves. So, Maureen, you referenced the whole concept of neuroplasticity, that the brain literally adapts to and conforms with our thoughts and what is in our consciousness. It does not conform to what is in our subconscious. And because we are often very externally influenced, the mind that is set is shaped by all kinds of things. And it is not very often that we leave room to encounter ourselves personally. And Maureen, you gave us a challenge. You know, we are attracting who we are? And we thought that if we don't know who we are, then what is influencing what we attract?
Yeah.
So we thought we need to take a pause and, you know, so I don't know, Jen, how did that affect you, that topic that Maureen just...
No, I like that topic because I'm always one for introspection. I believe if we don't, and you said it just now, if we don't know who we are, then we are being influenced by all the other things we've seen, but anybody else out there who interacting with us. Like we don't have, you know, we're not given an input because we just don't know ourselves. So I totally agree and find it is a great topic for us to chat about. And I keep saying, especially at this stage, this third act stage. So if we can't find ourselves, at least on this third act stage, then that is it, you know. Yeah. we just waited, you know, on that call.
Or someone walking down the road as ourselves.
Yep. So that's how I feel about it. Yeah.
Maureen, before you answer, I had an experience yesterday, and I think it just comes in here. And Maureen, I could present this and you could say. Now, you know that I have responsibility for my dad and my second mom, who has Alzheimer's, And I visited her yesterday. And I have no problem sharing this because this is something. And she looked at me and she said, Terri Ann, which Terri Ann are you? And she said to me, you know, I have two Normas. And I want to make sure I'm talking to the right Terri Ann.
Yeah.
And I said, but I am the Terri Ann that you always know. And I gave a few examples. She said, oh, okay. And in her space and time, she had two people who were herself, and one was giving her a lot of trouble. One was giving trouble. And she wanted Terri Ann to have a conversation with that one.
They trouble someone.
They trouble someone. And you know, we are talking now, and I swear that just came back to me. So when we talk about self-awareness,
Yeah.
you know, you could have a trouble someone directing your life, and the real you is somewhere tucked away, not getting attention. You know, I just decided to put that out there because I don't know who to resonate with.
Yeah.
I think that's a good example too, because you know why? It reflects on the topic that we are going to discuss, because we spend a lot of time focusing on other people, but we don't spend time understanding ourselves. And a lot of who we are and a lot of our behaviors and responses are reflective of their needs and how it will look and where they're at, and you know how it will affect them, as opposed to what's really going on with me. You know, why do I always need to be present for everybody else and I am absent for myself? So I think that is very insightful from that point of view. Also, it shows that, you know, while we think that we're not having these conversations with ourselves, we in fact are. A lot of us have conversations with ourselves, and the conversations are not rewarding and encouraging. They're very negative, and they're very punitive and disruptive to our well-being. But when we get on the stage and we start to act and pretend, everybody thinks that we are the people to be with or be around, or to, in some instances, even mirror, not recognizing that so many other things are going on behind the scenes and we hiding from them. So this is a good opportunity for people to not look at us and think that we prescribe in anything, but to use the information to start having those conversations with themselves, and to help each of us to focus on ourselves in this third act, because really we matter, and it's not selfish to finally take ownership and responsibility and to be accountable and to put things in perspective so that we are happy with who we are.
You know, the story that Terri Ann just gave us, Terri Ann was speaking there. I thought to myself, yes, I may not have Alzheimer's, but at times, like you're going to a different mood and you react to people differently. So it comes like it's a different, you know, people actually sometimes may talk to a friend and they might, you're singing different, boy. You ain't singing your normal self.
Correct.
And that also there are saying some people have split personalities and it have nothing to do with being diagnosed as Alzheimer's.
Schizophrenic.
Because in certain situations we react so differently. And you can ask yourself, that was me, boy. I can't believe I said that. Or I can't believe I took that action. Normally I wouldn't do that, you know? So really doing that introspection, for me, I had to check myself, you know, because seriously, sometimes I react to things and I say, you know, I say, I'll say, Jennifer, check yourself, you know.
Yeah.
So that came to mind, Terry. I think, boy,
Yeah.
I had to check myself, you know, because, and it could be an aggressive reaction, or it could be just not saying anything. And I may be one who I will talk out, and in situations I ain't saying anything and say, hey, what went wrong there, boy? You know, these
Yeah. Yeah.
so that I
Or
had, you know,
it may be a reaction that you don't associate with your typical self. So
yeah,
you
because
may
you don't
normally
know.
be confident, assertive, this and that. And
Yeah,
you may give a reaction that exposes vulnerability in us, that shocks
that's
yourself,
just
and you
it.
wonder where this coming from.
Right.
And it may be that we acting out of a personality that we created, neuroplasticity, but the
Yeah.
real you sitting down inside saying, hey, why you don't pay some attention to me, please? You know?
So we
Right.
really should confront ourselves, examine. Hey, yeah,
Yeah.
So I want us to, and if we could, just to put us in context, because I think this is a clear example of being in tune. So we could, Maureen, you could probably give us a guide as to how we become aware, because your question, are we attracting who we are? Because we might think we're projecting this, but the real us is something else. People seeing the real us, they ain't taking on our old talk. And we wonder, but why all these crosses keep coming to me?
and
I
the
may
other
be a
side of that,
cross.
Terry, is why we turning away so people
Correct. That's the other side to
they
it.
say
Yes.
something about me they must don't like, and you know, I
Yeah.
okay.
So let's get in tune, and Maureen will take us through this
Well,
uncertain journey.
what we hear in here is that self-awareness promotes growth,
Yes.
Oh
right?
yes.
Because a lot of us are stuck in certain narratives from childhood or experiences or people with who we continue to keep in our space. And that's another thing too, that I think one thing self-awareness brings is the fact that you don't feel guilty about making change. Or and even if the change is uncomfortable, because there's no way that any kind of change to your normal behavior or attitude, and that's why a lot of us behave the way we behave, because people have grown accustomed to us operating in a particular way. Jennifer said it, you know, but you're kind of off there today, boy. You know, that's not you. And we asked a question there at that point. For me, I would ask the question, which me you're talking about?
Yeah.
And that's the whole thing about introspection, which me, because in certain environments and spaces and among certain people and stuff, we know which suit of clothes to put on to present ourselves. And in this
Yeah.
direct, I don't have those clothes anymore. I just don't have it.
None of us have those clothes.
You know, I don't know why some people still pretending that they could fit in it.
You're
But
wrong.
I am not in a position to make myself small up to fit in spaces that no longer serve me.
Yeah.
Right? So in so doing, having said that, there were some questions that came up in our discussion. And I think that those questions would help to build the topic and certainly make people um start to do the work. Because and I always say that anything like this is a lot of work. And
Yeah.
the intent is really to make you feel uncomfortable before you become comfortable. Yeah. So there are some questions that we discussed and certainly we thought about, and those questions should lead the discussion to help us you know, kind of concretize this whole issue of self-awareness and build that perspective where, you know, we can start working on being the self that we would like to be moving forward.
And I'd like to say, just to give everybody a sense of direction, we want to we know this topic is going to cause people to want to ask questions and give feedback. So we have 6 questions. We're not going to be able to finish all 6 questions in this program, but we will definitely finish in our meetup for next week. So you'll start and we'll be the guinea pigs as we go through the process this afternoon. And we invite you to join us next Wednesday at the meetup where we finish the sessions, depending on where we read. So, Maureen.
Yeah. So,
and
the questions are in no particular order. I want people to be aware of that. It's just a question of coming out of the topic. These are things that we thought about, and if you have questions of your own too, you could probably put it in the chat as well to certainly concretize the conversation and keep the conversation moving. Because it's not a simple kind of topic by no means, right?
So let's hear Maureen. Again, it's just popping up. I'm really finding myself now.
Lovely.
I remember at some time during a training, and who was it? Maybe at that time, the facilitator was saying, sometimes we think we know, but it's interesting. We don't know what we don't know.
Yep.
I don't ever hear that saying.
Yeah.
And that is just pop up in my head and say, you don't know what we don't know, which leads me to that thinking of growth. We need to really think about that statement.
Yeah.
And start to explore.
And worse, Jennifer,
that we don't know.
Because we don't know it doesn't mean it doesn't exist.
That's very true.
And we may not know it about ourselves, but it exists.
Very true.
Maureen, I'm looking forward to learning now. We are doing introspection on ourselves. We are doing introspection on ourselves. So let me warn you. I don't know. Maureen you will start with one question and we will see how we answer, and then so is how we're moving.
Yes, for sure.
I could only take one at a time. I don't want to hear all one time and then I'm getting confused. So let me see how I'm learning about myself and some introspection. So let me hear that was the first question.
The first question that I have is, what kind of relationship you have with yourself?
Terri, I'm going first on that one. I'll let Terri Ann go first with her answer.
A complicated relationship. I'm being very honest. I always tell people that I'm a happy person with an imperfect life. And I think I am honest with the parts of my life that I enjoy and like. And the parts that don't live up to my standards, I put in a box and close up. I do not engage with that. Pure avoidance. Pure avoidance. So to the extent that there are things that are, I don't think, let me open the imperfect box. You open that part, because that's the part of self-awareness that probably is reflecting. The things that I think are imperfect are areas where I think I let myself down, or most critically, other people let me down. And there may be relationships that are important to me, or relationships that I cannot sever. And because you've let me down, I chose to just put you in a box and put you away, because I can't deal with you. I can't sever, I can't I don't want to confront, I'm afraid to confront. It may reflect parts of me that are not willing to change or don't want to face. So I create a nice little box and I seal the box and I put it away. I know where it is, but and I remember once I said I compartmentalize very well. So the relationship with me, if I'm honest, and I think I know this, is it could probably be not always honest, or I can do it to say it in a nice way. It's not 100% because a part of it is closed. And I think it's a conscious decision to things that I can't control or I can't change. It's a conscious decision by me to just put it away because I have decided I'm not wasting energy on something that I can't adapt to me. I think I'll become a sad person if I do. So I don't know. So that's the imperfect part. But for the other parts, it's not that everything is good. I tend to be very direct and realistic. And I think that is reflected in my relationship with my friends. You all get a lot of it. And I don't think I avoid critiquing myself. So I think I have a healthy relationship with that part of me that I choose to engage with, which is I confront it, I take criticism, I argue back, and if I need if I see that I am wrong or I can yield, I do. But I don't know, to Jennifer's point, what's going on with our box. I don't know. So I don't know what my relationship with the box is, except that I tape it up and pack it up and it has a little slot in it that I could put things in, but I'm not taking anything out. I could put things in there, but I'm not taking anything out. And I may be afraid of that box. I mean.
Well, Maureen, I mean, I'm talking anyhow. I'm saying, oh God, boy. For me, I would say, and I'm saying it very cautiously now, because I really want to be, you have me thinking, huh? And I would say I have a fairly good relationship with myself. And I'm saying this because I am one that do a lot of introspection. I question myself a lot, but I would say I am my own critic. So in situations, I know who I want to be. I know I want to become, or I work all the time on the person I want to become. Let me put it that way. So you know that I'm perfect, right? And in doing that, because my goal really is to live a life where I'm not creating problems for others. Let me put it this way.
Yeah.
All right. So I like people and I want to be liked. This is it. So the relationship I'm building is one that I want to be seen as somebody that you enjoy being with. Right?
Yeah.
So I work on but I have to be happy too, by the way. So I know those who I don't want to be with, and I work on that. And how I work on that in terms of relationship with me is that if I am happy, if I go out, I meet people and I'm happy with those people, or they are happy with me, and I come home, I always check in myself. I do it all the time. Jennifer, you was yesterday I had to do that. I said something, hey, I am an outspoken person. I remember being told that I am by my mother growing up that I'm very brash, whatever that brash meant. To me, brash at that time mean is really sitting sometime out of tune. So that might be my default kind of way. So to build a relationship with me, working on I call it I'm not saying faults, my default, what a go-to to put that barrier, that facade, as they say. So after critique, I might do something, say something that may not be very complimentary at times. And I will say, oh God, John, you could do better than that. You had to work on that. So while Terry, I may have a box, so I have a box with things I need to work on.
Yep.
As it happens,
I ignoring my
and I
box.
say something, I put it in and I say, okay, John, work on that. Work on that. Every time you reach a situation, work on that. You understand? So I have a lot, a to-do list in terms of building my relationship. For me, being self-aware, so I'm conscious of that. I'm conscious of who I am. I'm conscious of who I want to be. And I have the little box of the things that this is what I have to keep working on. You understand? To feel better about myself. I don't have to. I don't, and I'm saying it as we say, I don't beat up on myself or on myself. Although I have that box with things I have to work on, I'm not doing that blame game and saying, I may say yes, that hey, you gotta work on that if you want to be like this. All right? But I'm not saying to me that you should have do this, in that way.
Yeah.
No. I tend to go all the time. My default, even if something is I'm not happy with, I look at the positive of it. To keep myself in that mood, yes, growth, but a positive growth.
Yeah.
Yeah. So you have me saying things I never thought of before, right? But as I say, I'm unpacking.
Correct.
And it's staying here. So it's already some of the things I've said out here gone into that box.
Yeah.
The to-do box. And I'm happy that we're having this conversation because it helps me. It's a sort of, I wouldn't use the word cleansing, but let me say unpacking.
Yeah.
Clearing,
Yeah.
clearing my space on the stage, clearing my space. So I really want all the time to not have myself cluttered with negativity. So my relationship with myself is a very positive one. Yeah, I would say a happy and positive one, but a little box there to throw in things I have to work on.
Yeah.
Don't know if
Very
we
good.
ever gonna be answered like what Terry and I gave you, but we never thought of it like that. Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
we'll hear about
That's the
you
thing.
now.
Yeah. Well, the relationship I now have with myself is one of discovery. Because I
Mm-hmm.
spent a lot of my life being sad and grieved, even though people wouldn't, well, people who say they know me may have picked up on it, but what I've come to recognize is that the time that I give to others, other people didn't give to me. And it's okay
Okay.
too, because I put myself in those spaces and, my expectations were different from theirs. Having started this conversation with you ladies, when I joined this group, it certainly concretized something for me that grief and loss has no bearing or should not be the vehicle or the gas that you use to drive the rest of your life. Because what you will do is exist rather than live. And I made the concerted choice to live and to live on my own terms. So the relationship I now have with me is discovery, and I'll give you an example. I have started a little bit of strength training because my son likes those kind of things. He's very encouraging when it comes to health and wellness and on the whole personal development and stuff. And he mentioned something to me. He said, you fixate on the scale because of your weight. But at this age, it's not about your weight, man. It really is about your strength. You have to be able to climb the stairs, to reach for something, to bring up your groceries, because as a result of that strength, you will maintain your independence and autonomy. Now, if you told me that for 10, 20 years ago, what are you talking about? I mean, I busy, I go in, I active, and that's what you talk about, when you talk about taking the time to really listen to understand rather than listen to respond or to even deny or even to justify, and a lot of us do those things, the labeling, and that's just part of being old. I move away from that. So really, it's a new, I into that era of discovering who I am and more importantly, transitioning into another aspect of living. Yeah. I don't know where it will take me, but I'm excited about the prospects because there's a lot to do out there and I want to do it.
Yeah.
There's a part of relationship with self. You said something about, I look at the word old. And I think I use the word very differently. I have been on this earth for a certain amount of time. December, it will be 65 years. In 10 years' time, it will be 75. In 20 years' time, it will be 85. And in 30 years' time, it will be 95. If God allows me to spend all that time. And I think the descriptor old is a social construct. I really do. I think it is what you choose to be by what your body allows you to do and by what your mind allows you to conceive. So it links back to that confidence and curiosity that we talked about in our discussion last week. So if the world wants to say old is over X age or X age, fine. But if an 85-year-old woman who's had a habit of eating a certain way, moving a certain way, training her muscles to be a certain way, has followed a certain regime with going to the doctor and taking care of herself, then that woman at 85 is going to end up in a certain physical state and a certain mental state. And that is what that woman is. Another woman or man will end up at 85 who lived in a completely different way. Taking care of the body in a completely different way, having a mindset that was completely different. And they will stand up next to that woman and they will be a completely different person. If you want to describe both of them as old, go ahead because it describes their age. But who that person is, who each of those individuals are, is going to be completely different because one will have a certain physical and mental capacity and one will have another physical and mental capacity. You might have one physically able, but mentally, and you might have one mentally sharp, but physically they did nothing with their bodies. So I think part of the relationship with self first has to do with what is my self. I have a physical self and I have a mind self, and I have made decisions as to how I take care of and allow this physical self to experience life. And I use all my senses. I use eyes, sight, taste, hearing, touch, skin. I engage all my organs. And in terms of mentally, what happens in the brain, because that is why I think my emotions stay. I am protective of myself. And that's why I have a box that is sealed and only have a slot to put things in. You know, and they are not coming. I am checking nothing. I don't want to deal with that. Stay there and I will continue my life otherwise. Yes, I am aware that there are instances where things that I put in I could put part of you in the box, huh? So I could put part of Maureen in that box. So I will engage with Maureen in X
In a
way. The
particular
whole
way.
of Maureen not going in the box. But that part of Maureen I just not dealing with because what happens?
Yeah.
So I can, and I don't know if that is bubbly root schizophrenia, but in my mental frame, it allows me to enjoy life. And I am very clear that that is inherited from the way I've seen my parents manage life. You know, so if I have to use Jennifer's reference, if I have a to-do list, if I think, all right, there's a part of Maureen that is difficult for me to deal with, but I'm interested in fixing it, I will deal with it. But if I have reached to the stage where I am not dealing with that part of Maureen, but that part of Maureen doesn't write off the relationship with Maureen, it will go in the box and it will go through the slit and seal up. Not even light going through that slit, you know. It's just the
Interesting.
it's
But
what
I
is
guess,
there.
and you know what you're saying there, Terri, and it's very true, because the clearer you are about yourself, is the better you become at attracting the right people in your space. You understand? I think that for a lot of us, we tolerate a lot, and
I'm fixing that.
we allow
But
too
I don't want to
many
fix.
influences. Exactly. But there comes a time when we have to do what is in our best interests. Which brings me to the other question, as you raised that, is that whether you believe that you deserve love and care. Because
Absolutely. Absolutely. And if you don't love me and you don't care about me, you are in the box.
Yeah.
I am so uncompromising on that at this stage in my life. In a previous stage, you tolerate, and love is not always intimate love. Love
Correct.
in my Christian sense is wishing good for the other. If you do not wish good for me, you do not love me. It doesn't mean that I don't love you back. I will still wish you good, but I will not have you in a space where you can put harm to me. So that's why I end up in the box. But I will still wish good for you. I will still love you. But you not coming to bring your anti-love by me.
Yeah.
You will get my love, but I will not receive your whatever you call it.
You know, it's really how you look at love and care, and Terri Ann is just saying in terms of how she looked at love. To answer your question, this question directly, I would say, how they say, a resounding yes to me deserving love and care. Why do? It's because, and I mentioned that when I spoke on this introspection, I appreciate who I am. I appreciate the people around me. And to me, that appreciation and how we show appreciation, that's love for me. Because I mentioned many times in this program too, that what is called love, I wasn't brought up. I knew my parents loved me, but they didn't show their love by the hugging and the kissing, like how some people would say, you know, they were loved because they received a lot of hugs and kisses. No, my experience of being loved is having people taking care of me, having my best interests at heart, and ensure that I am happy. Okay? So for me, that deserving of love is I deserve the happiness, and I deserve when persons engage with me, they think about me and my happiness. All right? And that goes along with care. Right? To showing love to me is caring about me. And for me, so I deserve that because I treat myself, hey, I take care of me. All right? I love myself and I take care of me. So that's how I would interpret that. I give out the same thing to persons who I choose to be around me. I ain't sealing them off as I'm not sealing them off. It means
I seal off
a
part
lot
of
to
you.
me. No, I take in the whole you
I could seal off part of you.
because I think too it come from if I have you in my circle, if I want you in my circle, I would even there would be I don't expect persons to be to that. You must have more of what I want for you to be in my circle. I mean, let me put it that way. And when I say his circle expander, you're talking the friends, the workplace, persons who I accept, but I would give off that what I see as that love and care to them. Because if I accept you, it means I appreciate you, I love you, and how I see they love me. I might not be and kiss you, but I love you. And I would care by the way I feel that I need to do that for you because I want you to be happy. I want you to be happy. If you have certain aspects of you that I may not appreciate, my way of dealing with it is to find the positives that will keep me
Yeah.
not pushing you away. Because as long you're there, I'm going to find what would the positives to keep me going. If you're not there in my cycle, it means that I don't want you there because I'm not dealing with that. You know? So yeah, I deserve that love and care that you ask about.
Yeah. Well, I also agree wholeheartedly that I deserve love and care. But here's the methodology that I'm not no longer engaging in looking for love in all the wrong places. I
Okay.
spent a lot of my life,
Box.
Yeah. Yeah.
this box, I don't know, I might have to decorate it. So people will think it's maybe for collection. Note to self.
Yeah.
Right. In doing this kind of self-reflection and looking at the people that I attract and that kind of thing, that was one of the things that jumped out at me because people pleasing is a dangerous quality. A lot of people and a lot of people feel that hey, nothing wrong with that. A lot is wrong with that. So this season of love and care is about me loving me and me caring for me. And certainly things like diet and exercise and meditation and things like avoiding contentious situations. And by avoiding doesn't mean that if I have to confront, I won't. But at the same time, if it doesn't feed my soul. I mean, this season also is about my energy because I realize this energy thing it's in as high as it used to
It's
be.
scarce. It's scarce.
Yeah.
The limited
Oh,
supply.
yes. So to have it all over the place and sharing it hither and beyond, and it not even returning, and then you're seeing people doing nothing with it, and no. So it's really that when I think about love and care, I think that, okay, Maureen, let's lock this thing in now and kind of look at you and see what your needs are and where the gaps are, and where you need to kind of, and it's not consolation, it's restoration. Because that's the other thing too. People look at nurturing themselves with this consolation. Well, what if? Oh, no, no, no. It's restoration. It's a question of wanting to move forward with a positive energy that is in alignment with me and the environment that I'm creating for myself. And that's why I'm going to be nurturing while Terri and out there in her garden and in her kitchen creating havoc. I will
And
be
on my
here with
sewing
my
machine. Don't forget
with the
the
sewing
machine.
machine. Yes, don't forget that sewing machine. I will be spending quiet time with me and make no apology for it.
Yeah.
Not being accessible, not being available, no apology. Because I do any work, I do any heavy lifting for me, on me, with me, by me. Yeah,
And Maureen, what you're saying there, it really proves that introspection is so important for us.
correct.
In terms, you see that energy. If we don't do that introspection, means we are depleting our energy without knowing it.
Yeah,
And that introspection bring us back to balance, to know how to what we really where we put in our energies, how we
yeah,
building that up. And that is what we have to reflect on. We need to do that, question ourselves, just as how you have done it, and come to that stage of realization that, hey, this is where we want to be heading. If we don't do that, then, as you said, we don't know who we are, and
right.
we'll remain stuck. So yeah, let
We
me hear
attracting
the
people and we
question.
chasing
You're
people.
attracting, yeah,
And
yeah,
we
exactly.
chasing people.
You're eliminating, you're attracting and eliminating
So
real traffic
yeah,
happening here. Yeah, but you are in control of the line.
Yeah.
And
yeah,
and certainly you are doing stuff that you ought to have done maybe 5, 10 years ago, but or two, it's not relevant today. It's about
Today.
what's
Today.
happening today,
Today.
yeah.
in the moment, full stop. Yeah.
And I
So
think,
no
Maureen,
judgment.
an important thing that we have to, that for me, what is love? And I think for me, love is a multidimensional and comprehensive thing. Intimacy is part of it, but you see that notion of wanting good for me. If I believe in our interactions, you want good for me, then you love me. And I will show it by if I want good for you. And if I truly want it, you'll see it in my actions. And it doesn't mean that I'm always nice and everything is smooth. But at the end of the day, you go through rocks and rivulets and storms because we want to get through, come back to pain and suffering. We don't
Yeah,
want suffering here. We will go through pain and we'll go through joys. But I think for many, when we say love, we go into that. It involves another person. And it
yeah,
involves partnership and intimacy. And I really, really believe, you see that attraction and what you're pushing off. If you do not
yeah,
first know who you are and love yourself, then someone looking at you cannot see what love you have to offer and therefore want to come to you for it. So if you're busy fronting to attract something because a magazine tell you this is what it should be, people looking at you are seeing what you're giving off, what you're doing,
Oh,
whether your mind really wants good from others and whether you are willing to give to others. And I think that is what is attractive. So if you don't know what loving is and how you show love and be love and do love, then you cuckoo cock, as one former person
Yeah.
said, and it burning too. You know? So we
Yeah.
really have to get our understanding of what is love without using the word love.
Yeah.
And what you're talking about there too, Sharian, is also about oversharing. Let me tell you, I've seen a lot of people who get into situations where they tell people all the things that went wrong in previous relationships, friendships, those kind of things. And they think that by doing that, what they actually doing is setting up a kind of platform where those things wouldn't happen again. But what they're not recognizing is that you're telling people how to treat you moving forward because you've already said, you've already exposed your
And the
vulnerability and exposed
neuroplasticity, you're
the
telling your
new
mind how to
exactly
behave.
already exactly. So and then so they do that to your face, but I mean when you're genuinely looking for that kind of support and love and care and that kind of thing. They just don't have it in them because they've spent a lot of the time just navigating this information that you have shared about all your nuances or the things that you don't like and the things that you don't want. And when I mean, let them learn that just by engagement and communication and spending time and being in your space. And the thing is that the way you relate to me may be very different from the way you relate to Jennifer. And we, all of us, love each other. We care for each other, you know. So that's something too that in doing your introspection, you have to always recognize that kind of oversharing as well as giving your impression of others and or like because you have certain experiences with someone, you will color other people's opportunities to have an experience with that person. Okay, the person may have a similar experience, but the experience will be totally different and beneficial. And you ought not to be jealous or feel as if the person shortchanged you
Yeah.
and invested more in someone else. So it's all of those kinds of things we have to look at ourselves and see how we translate in those environments and spaces. Which brings me to the next question that I had here. And it speaks about do you avoid your emotions by staying busy? Do you avoid your emotions by staying busy?
No. I think everything I put in the box, whoever it's associated with, know that what it was and why they went in the box. And I don't distract. I don't think I don't think anybody feels an emotion for me is a feeling, how I feel about something, someone, somewhere. Is what I feel, whether it is a positive, negative, anxious, intense. So that's what an emotion is for me. And I think I don't know that there is an emotion I feel for something or someone that they are not aware of. So I don't think, and not every negative emotion goes in the box. If I don't put it in the box, I'm going to deal with it or I'm going to live with it. So I don't think that I detract myself from my emotions. And busy for me, doing nothing is busy. Doing nothing is something. So it's not that I'm a busybody. So
Right.
if there's, I will think deeper and make sure that there isn't an emotion, I have an emotion to someone or something that that they're not aware of. So I keep it a secret.
Yeah.
Get me sick. I swear to
Yeah.
Cynthia, just like, but I let you know, and I don't tell you if you're going in the box, you will realize all of a sudden I can't get to Terri and as I used to before. And if you're smart and you know me well, you'll know you're in the box. I don't have to give you notice that I put you in the box.
Hmm.
That allows me to deal with part of you and not all of you.
All of you.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Terri, and have me want to part of me in the box or not. I have to start. I have
And
to
if
start
it
now.
is, look, I love you, I deal with you.
I have to start now when interacting with her saying, I wonder if this part in the box or
In the
not in the
box.
You
box.
wouldn't know, you wouldn't know. It's to keep me safe.
She had me, Maureen and me on the P's and Q's. I don't know when I'm
Moving
going.
forward.
I don't know when I'm going in the box. But Maureen, to answer this question, I just asked myself, am I emotional person or not? So let me start by saying that. And you know, it's interesting how I don't want anybody to tell me if I'm emotional, or not, but I don't see myself being very emotional. I would say basically, generally, in my opinion, let me put it this way, in my opinion, in checking myself. But having said that, and what annoys me at times, and I'm thinking here, and I'm going back to the workplace, before I left, and
Yeah.
I have been told many times, and I feel, and I want to believe it's just to annoy me, that why are you getting so emotional? And I think when it is said, it is because I may be talking a bit, I may be a little more harsh with a response. And because of my response, which is maybe abrupt, maybe to the point, because that's how I would speak. And in situations when it becomes a little contentious, I would, as they may say, I will fight for myself. I will defend myself. All right.
Mhm.
And in the way I would defend myself, I think the other person see it as I am becoming emotional. Whether I am or not, I can't tell you. The emotion at that time is, hey, I not letting you walk over me. I see this point, and this is how I react. But I am not by nature a soft-spoken person or quiet person by nature. So because of who I am, it could be seen that I get emotional. How I deal with things though, if I'm in that state, if I in that state where someone may see it as emotional, being emotional, even if I don't, I would say how I deal with it at those times. I get rid of my frustration by telling you as it is, right?
Yeah.
So I get it out of my system, whatever it is. So I wouldn't shut down or shut up. So in terms of being busy, if being busy mean I telling you as it are responding in the way I feel, letting out my frustration or whatever it is. I don't know if I wouldn't call that being busy. It don't taken me long to do that
Right.
because after I express myself and deal with the situation, if it's contentious, most of the time, deal with it in the way I feel I would deal with it. I would just, my action would be, I always reflect, right? So
Yeah.
my action will be after I wouldn't take flight, as they say fight or flight. Not all the time, but most of the time I would deal with that emotion by checking myself and say, hey, did you handle that right? I think it was you went overboard a bit. You understand? That if you say no, I would say no to if you to avoid. I don't avoid it. I confront. I
Right.
confront it within myself. Let me put it this way. I confront it. I don't I check myself and say if it is that all right, you could have cool it a bit, I put it in that little box to do. Work on your emotions or work on your your responses. So that go in there. But I don't lock it down and shut it down. I keep, going back and reflecting and seeing how I'm progressing in doing that.
Right.
If my emotions, if I am very tense or upset on certain things, maybe a personal situation, I love to go walking by myself and that is a beautiful time for me early morning. I take that time to clear my head and all that. So if it happens other than the morning, I am a gardener. I like to walk around, look at my plants and say, listen to me, Ollie, and get into me, I good. You understand? So that would be my action would not be a negative one. My being busy is not sitting down and complaining. It would be I may call a friend and vent
Yeah.
if they listen. But I will choose who I call in to vent. So maybe become busy in the hour or so venting. But I'm ridding myself. After I'm finished with whatever action I take, whether it's to call a friend, whether it's to go walking, whether it's to watch my plants and relax and say, hey, I have a good life. It's not something that will stay with me. It's I'm on the move, right?
Yeah.
I'm on the move, and at the end result is always I'm back in the space, the positive space I want to be, because I keep focusing on that aspect, coming
Yeah.
back to my being who I am, trying to keep myself calm and happy, building back the positive energy. Yeah. You really
Yeah.
have me thinking, by the way.
Good, because I think
Uh
into
Going within. No,
we all
really,
thinking.
as you ask the questions and we go along, and I know it's not deliberate, but for me, it's sending me a little deeper into my thoughts.
Yeah.
It changes my whole, how I do introspection. I say, hey, I thought I used to do a lot of introspection, but like I haven't been going deep enough for something. So this is good. I feel good already about it.
Can I
Yeah.
say something that Jennifer just before you go, Maureen? I'm sorry for interrupting. And it is about the relationship with self. Something that Jennifer just said that I realize is a real strong thing about myself.
Mhm.
Nobody, absolutely nobody, can have an opinion of the emotion I choose to show. You may have your opinion, but I don't
Mhm.
care what it is. If a situation has me angry, I am angry, and I have reason to be angry. If a situation has me sad, I will cry. I have reason to cry. If a situation has me happy, I will laugh. I think that part of society's control is to say
Mhm.
what is an appropriate emotion and what is not. I
Yeah.
reject that completely. Completely. If I'm in pain, I am not going to pretend that I am not because how it could look. I'm not
Mhm.
going to do that. And I've had people, you're being emotional. And my response
Yeah.
is yes, and the emotion is anger because you said X. Or yes, you just disrespected me because of what you said. So my response is an emotion, it is anger. Deal with it. You cannot tell me that my emotion is inappropriate because it makes you uncomfortable. I'm expressing it. But if I am overreacting and my anger has gone in a different way, or my sadness has gone in a different way, or my distress has gone in a different way, and we have a relationship, we could talk it through, and in talking it through, my emotions will be moderated. Or you will recognize that you did something that put me in a place because you love me and want the best for me. You don't want me to stay there. So we'll find a way to work it out. But one of the things about myself is my emotions are a big, big part of me. It's part of my honesty, and it can't be regulated by another person's opinion. What I can do, and I'm open to doing, is to explain why I feel this way. And if I've been misunderstood, temper it down. But I'm not accepting somebody's judgment of whether an emotion is appropriate or not. I think emotions are a very important part of who we are because it's how we express. And I think that's a big thing people use to control others. To tell you, you're too this, or you're too that, or you're not enough this, or you're not enough that. When what an emotion is how I express a feeling at this point in time. Something has happened that caused me to feel like this. So if you tell me my emotion is not appropriate in validating me, you're crazy. You know, so I just thought I would put that in. And it needs a discussion between, because you can have emotions with people. You can't get angry at things. You could, but break it.
You could, when that cake don't rise, or you do a wrong stitch.
But that, Jennifer, you said that, and it clicked something in me that I didn't raise before.
Yeah. And this whole thing about being busy, I think I need to kind of like explain that, because people may think about being busy as the physical busyness, or but a lot of this busy has to do with the fact of not being centered or not being still to deal and treat with the emotions that you feel. So I just want to be clear about that in terms of when people think about it for themselves, you know. It's not activity external, it's activity internal. And I think for me, a lot of I was labeled, according to you, Terri, and those labels. I was labeled as being emotional and unrealistic. The list goes on and on and on and on.
You will understand what I feel.
And my thing is, I don't even explain anymore. That's how I feel, and know why. I just drop it, and you could decide how you want to relate it or not relate it, and we keep it moving. I spend too much time, really, not even pinpointing the emotions that I feel, because sometimes, because people neutralize those feelings and those emotions, that you start to question the integrity and the honesty of who you actually feel, to the point where you start to chastise yourself for feeling the way you feel it. I mean, it might sound unrealistic and impractical, but it's a fact, you
tell me I shouldn't be vexed. I'm vexed.
Exactly, a vex, that kind of way. So when I think about it, it's only now in this third act that I claim in my feelings. I never claimed them, right? Because it was too complicated, it was too complex, it would create too many nuances, and especially in a profession like mine, where people have the expectation that you're supposed to know how to this, and that's something I always told people, that I too have a therapist. Don't for 1 minute feel that because I'm in this, that I don't need help. I need more help than you. Because sometimes what happens is the, cross transactions and things that people would say, still a lot of unresolved emotional conflicts and experiences in me that I thought I'd put in the box. But they read their heads, and so I have to work through. I choose to. That's the other thing too. When you talk about emotions, you have to choose which ones, and you have to choose to address and choose to feel. Because like some people say, you know, I'm not an emotive person. We all are. It's the choices that we make and the way that we express and or don't express, because not expressing is also an emotion. And people don't get that either. It says a loud message if you are paying attention. The other thing about emotions too is that, you know, you have to start to recognize who is paying attention. Everything is not for everybody and in every space and at every time. You know, people used to talk about time and space and time and place. And, you know, I used to say, what time and place? Well, you know, it happening live, right? But and you're not doing it to get a reaction or response. You're actually talking about you. This is your history, your self story through what you are expressing. But how are people going to get that if they are not the audience who are supposed to be a part of it in the first place, or they're not ready or prepared, or you haven't really understood what it is you're feeling? Yeah, because we just feeling the feeling, but in a lot of instances, we have to understand who, what, when, where, how, and why first, and then express those emotions. Yeah. So the other thing is about
Go ahead.
the relationship with yourself. Do you tell yourself the truth?
And Maureen, I think my belly hurting me, all right? So, and we have gone through 3 questions, and we only have a few minutes left.
There you go.
And I really hope that the viewers are going along with this as we are, because the bellyache that I have, I usually get when things that matter to me are going on in my life. And there was a time when I would, that tension in my stomach was the signal to me to put on a different front,
Yeah.
to suppress and get busy, as I would say.
Yes.
And a good friend a long time ago taught me how to identify that tummy ache, and that's where I learned those were my emotions. And I had to
Wow.
learn to label it. I had to learn to label what it was and to own it, because I think especially for women, society uses the emotions as a tool to control, and then you end up suppressed and all kinds of stuff. So
Yeah.
I label it, and it is the reason I think my tummy is getting stressed is because I am talking about how I process and feel as a way to decide if something going in the box or it's staying out. But it's not the go in the box kind of bellyache, it's the kind of stay out bellyache. So this is a good process.
So have no fear.
Yeah. We're still good.
It's
It's all good.
still good.
And remember, I
You're still on the
announce when you go in the box. I let you know if
They
you are
let you
in
know.
a box.
Well, I already know I get in a half of me in the box, because you can't tell me. Maureen, I can deal with certain things with you and other things in the
But
box.
I will let you know which. I've never told you that. And Jennifer, I've never told you I ain't dealing with that. You deal with it, so
Well,
you're
you didn't
not in
say
the
how
box.
long you have to wait to go in the box.
No. Jennifer, you have seen me put people in the box. It's very clear.
I never thought I would have been fearful what was going on now. I thought it was everybody else. Everybody else
That's the
must
thing
be.
about self-awareness.
You know when you're in the box. You know that if I'm putting you in the box, you know you're going in the box.
So, so Maureen, okay, so that was it. We have no time with the questions again, but I must say though, and I'm sure our audience maybe if I'm feeling like this, I am, you know, they are questioning themselves. Yeah, and I'm a truthful person, so I know that I'm truth. I tell the truth, whether it hurt or not. I try to. It's how you do it. It's how you do it. But
Yeah,
for me and myself, I'm truthful to myself, so I can say that. But I looking forward for our meetup is, where we
yeah,
could continue and really explore, the questions. I found for me, I already know that I am going to reflect on those 3 questions we covered. I'm going back on it because, yes, I mean, I know I can go much deeper to get some answers and it will make a difference. I keep repeating that at this stage, I look forward to I'm not looking years now, but the phase I'm in, I appreciate the introspection and really, really knowing who I am and how I want to be and what I have to continue doing to remain in this stage. And we are still growing. And
yeah.
I am on board with you and looking forward to exploring more. By the time we reach next week for the meetup, I think I would have covered a lot of ground in terms of who I am. I think I will be bouncing and very happy and waiting what else she could come with that I can handle.
Next thing you start attracting all kind of different people.
People.
I like to expand my circle, right? So that's something to look forward to. I'm not fearful of that at all. Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
So just in summary, we've done only 3 of the questions of the 6 that Maureen told us about. And those 3 were, what kind of relationship do you have with yourself? Secondly, do you believe that you deserve love and care? Thirdly, do you avoid your emotions by staying busy? And Maureen, you want to tell us the other 3 so people could
Oh
just
gosh,
start
Lord have
thinking?
mercy. We're trying to
Because I think they're
create,
worse.
create an emergency here.
We have a whole week. We have a whole week to start to think about it.
You tell yourself the truth. When you make a mistake, do you examine it? Are you outsourcing your power?
So we have a meetup to meet up with, boy. Yeah. That question with emotions, I think, is what stir up my stomach. I really think that's what stir up my stomach because that is an area of self-awareness that don't define me. Don't
I'm going and start working on these Maureen. So when time comes, I'll be ahead of the class on the Wednesday. Yeah. And
so we look forward to seeing you on the meetup. We hope that you all have had a good time. I hope some of you have a little knot in your tummy like me. Until Wednesday in the meetup and for the 5.8 GL Live crew, see you the following Wednesday when we'll give you a hint of what happened in the meetup. Bye.
Okay, bye.
50 Plus Tribe and followers from Trinidad and Tobago and the Caribbean.
Thank you for joining us on this Connections 50 Plus 5.8G Alive show.
We hope you enjoyed the lively conversation and look forward to seeing you next week.
Don't forget to like our Facebook page and subscribe to our YouTube channel.
We really love getting your feedback. Bye for now.